A very warm good afternoon to our very respected and distinguished panelists present in this very special program of Peace to Non-Violence virtual conference organized by the Universal Peace Federation on the occasion of commemorating United Nations International Day of Peace and International Day of Non-Violence as a 12-day commemorative event. This movement we call a global peace movement, which has the more than 250 organizations, including the institutions such as Washington Times daily newspaper in America. And we have hundreds and thousands of educational institutions globally, all together working for global peace. As late Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. In this year 2020, when Corona was beginning and spreading all over the world, in February itself, we had a World Summit 2020 with 120 current and former heads of state and heads of governments from all over the world. And we in India organized hundreds and hundreds of peace building activities with the blessings of the national leaders in a various capacity. We had an honor of having our two major events in the Parliament of India to launch our peace initiatives and other many important activities. And we also believe that peace should come from the family. Family should be the school of love and school of peace. And for strengthening the marriage and family values, we also organize the family strengthening programs and activities. And youth, no doubt, are the future of our world. So youth should be nurtured as you are doing in the schools, all of the principles. So we also have the youth peace leadership training program globally. And even during this pandemic time, we kept on having such kind of webinars, one after another. This is a member of parliament of 7 members of parliament in one webinar. This is MPs and youth leader. This is vice chancellors. This is school principals. And this is again MLAs and social workers. This is again the MPs and the youth leaders for celebrating United Nations International Day of Youth. This is what we are facing now. Today, we will be receiving the message of best wishes on this occasion from Kim Nobel, who is the principal in Tunbridge High School in Bangalore. So St. Stephen alumni and a very special educationist in the south part of India. So please welcome to you as well, Mr. Kim Nobel. Our young but a very dynamic principal in Tunbridge High School in Bangalore, who is alumni of St. Stephen College, and who was in various other professions, a corporate world, and finally in this teaching profession as a principal. So welcome to you, Mr. Kim Nobel, for your kind words of inspiration at this moment.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna. I'm really overwhelmed to be part of a panel that has such eminent personalities over here, and I have much to learn, much to absorb. In the 25 years and plus that I've had with developing people, my heart, hands, and minds, the question arises: how does one get into this field of education or teaching? Maybe if he could influence lives with such humility, just as the father of the nation did, what's here stopping any of us? This is my cover photo. Teach peace. And the two words have merged. I think a lot of educators have seen the two words have merged together. And that's the very essence of being a teacher. The purpose of a teacher is to bring about love, happiness, affection, harmony, and peace in the home and in the classroom. You think of a teacher as one who imparts knowledge. But before that, if a teacher can impart empathy, the greatest knowledge of all is empathy. Now, in the 2.5 decades where I have developed teachers, I've trained them, I've run courses and modules across different states and parts of the country, teaching teachers to think critically, to get the kids to think differently, to approach problems, techniques of reaching out to students, using emotional intelligence. Never have I come across a written handbook which tells you how to teach peace. And that is what every educator must write for themselves. You will not find this in a lesson plan. Then it's a time for us to think how, as educators, is this a different time for us? Is this a time for us to reflect, to stop at the pit stop and say, it's a time we can do things differently. It's a time when we can empathize, we can empower, we can enlighten. And maybe with that, we can educate. I'd like to bring out one, there are many incidents, but I'd like to bring out one incident when I just started teaching. When I came to Bangalore 25 years ago, and I started at a school at Frank Anthony's, and I was a teacher of history and civics in grade 9. And one of the chapters we came across was, religions in India. So I was scratching my head. I said, okay, now how do I introduce this chapter? So I told the kids, okay, let's do a project. I said, we will not look at the book. What's in the textbook is never enough. So why don't you go home and you work on a project and you come back the next day and you make a presentation on a religion. So they all got into groups and said, yes, we'll do that. So kids of different religions, you had the Hindu children getting together, you had the Christian children, you had the Sikh children getting together, and the Muslim children getting together and say, okay, you present our religion tomorrow. I said, hang on there, no such thing. You will present another religion, one that is not your own. And they were shocked. But they went back home, and I gave them about a few days. And at the end of the week, they came back and they made the most flawless presentations in the class. And they looked at each other, they appreciated each other's presentation. And the one common factor of all the religions that were brought up in the class was peace.